Hello, welcome to another edition of Issues with JIDE. Here we'll talk about actions and inactions and those who shape our political and national landscape and how these impact us positively or otherwise. I'm Ibrahim Shita. Today on the show, Nigerians panic as Naira crashes, worsening inflation. And also on the show, Eagles go for AFCON gold. In the course of the program, we take your questions, but first subscribe to our YouTube channel and drop your questions in the comment section. It's important to mention that we can only read comments with human names and the ones based on the subject matter. I have joining me via Zoom the maestro himself, Babajide Kolade-Otitoju. It's good to see you, Bikil.
It's good to see you, Ibrahim. Good evening to our viewers.
That's right. So, amid the chaotic yo-yoing of the Naira against the greenback, causing panic among Nigerians, the Nigerian currency has appreciated further as foreign exchange markets recorded increased dollar supply on Friday at the official market. This reflected dollar sales by banks in response to the directive by the CBN on selling their excess dollars to the official FX market. What's your reading of the current health of the Nigerian currency, BK?
Like other Nigerians, I'm really disturbed that this is happening. We never bargained for anything close to this. We knew that the reforms would be difficult. We knew that the reforms would come with some pains, but we never knew that it would be this bad. Many Nigerians do not know the extent to which corruption is killing us as a country. Corruption is affecting every sector in our country, including even religious organizations. The impact of corruption on even the value of our currency is staggering. Now, the CBN ordered banks to sell off the dollars in their vaults. The question is, why did it take the CBN this long to take this action? Why should banks in Nigeria hold as much as $5 billion in their vaults? They have no reason in the world to have that stock of dollars because they are intermediaries. So they should tell us who they were keeping the dollars for. And as far as I'm concerned, those banks should have been relieved of the dollars in their possession and given the Naira equivalent of the dollars in their possession, because a lot of them accumulated this stock of dollars at a point when it was exchanging to our currency at about 350, 400, or even 700. But they continue to pile it up just so that they can make as much profit as possible. The CBN was making available more than $100 million every week to the banks. The CBN stopped selling dollars to Bureau de change operators during the Emefiele era and preferred to sell directly to the banks. But what were these banks doing? These banks were giving dollars directly to itinerant dollar hawkers. When you go to a bank here in Lagos and you tell them that you want dollars, they will direct you to an aboki who is always within the premises of the bank. They will tell you to go and do business with the guy. Even at a point when we had the official and non-official market, they will get their stock of dollars, they will get their dollars in the official market and push it to these hawkers, enabling the banks to make as much profit as possible. A nation that allows this kind of illegality to continue or to happen at all, it's not a serious country. Yes, we can say we are not producing enough, we are not doing this, we are too dependent on foreign currency, but our case is not too different when we are compared with our neighbors. The only problem is that some of the nonsense going on in our country, our neighbors would not permit. The hunger for the dollar in our country is an unusual one. People would rather transact business in dollars. People would rather give out gifts to fellow Nigerians in dollars. Big men in our country, they believe that it's fashionable to give people dollars as gifts rather than give them in Naira, which will mean that they will be carrying Ghana must go bags around. But you could actually give someone $10,000, in just a small envelope. So governors, out of a huge chunk of their security votes, they convert almost everything to dollars. Now that those governors are getting a lot more from the distributable revenue from PAC, the quantum of dollars, the quantum of Naira that they are converting to dollars has increased. I'm not saying that this is the major cause, but it is part of the problem. So now the CBN is trying to get a firm grip of the markets. It's trying to stop some of the distortions and the illegalities happening in the market, the foreign exchange market. But we've allowed this thing to go on for so long to the detriment of our country and its people. Why would you allow banks to keep $5 billion in their vaults? Doing what? A recent decision was also taken by the president to stop the NNPC from holding on to their receipts for crude oil sales. Now, whatever the NNPC sells, the proceeds go directly to the CBN. That is the instruction from the president. For so long, the NNPC had been allowed to do whatever pleased his management. And former CBN governor Sanusi was complaining that how come the NNPC is not delivering enough dollars? They are selling crude oil, but they were allowed to keep the proceeds. No one in our country can say with finality that this is how much crude oil we produce, this how much crude oil we sell. It is whatever the NNPC tells us that we accept. And they will keep a good chunk of the dollars that should actually go into the foreign exchange market so that those who need these dollars desperately can have access to them. They would rather keep in their accounts. Now, the president has said all of those proceeds should go straight to the CBN. This, in my view, will also help increase liquidity. The CBN also took a decision in the course of the week, stopping banks and financial technology companies, fintechs, from international money transfer. By the regulations that the Apex Bank came up with in the year 2014, only the deposit money banks were are precluded from this kind of transaction. Perhaps this will also help us to achieve better liquidity. We have not done well as a country at all in terms of keeping our currency strong. And I'm really worried for Nigerians because the way things are going, more companies will go under if the CBN does not address this slide of the Naira. Already, the decision to peg custom duty at 1,357. Let me be very sure of that. 1,357 naira to a dollar, from 952 naira to a dollar, is one decision that will kill many Nigerian companies. It will drive up the cost element for manufacturing companies. It will make their end products much more expensive. Companies were already gasping. By this 42% increase in the duty that importers will pay, no economist needs to tell us that companies are in for a very tough time, a very rough ride. And already the inflation is driving Nigerians to north. All these shocks and disruptions, Nigerians were not expecting. There are families in our country with their children abroad, and those children abroad, they send dollars to them. With the crash of the dollar, many of those families now are already thinking of relocating to join their children abroad, because no matter what they earn, the value of the Naira will ensure that whatever they earn amounts to nothing at the end of the day, and it will be a lot more expensive for them to sustain those children abroad, whether they are schooling or they are just there trying to survive. So the CBN has a tough job on his hands. Cardoso has already walked into a climate of hatred, a climate of anger. It is unfair to blame everything on Cardoso, because before now, we were owing airlines, foreign airlines, we were owing them hundreds of millions. We are owing them hundreds of millions. We are also owing other categories of business people, including banks. The CBN has been doing its best to repay some of these forex liabilities, so that people will feel comfortable to come and do business in Nigeria. I've said it before, that if we do not clear that backlog of forex liability, no matter how many trips the president makes trying to bring in investors, encourage investors to come to Nigeria, he's not going to achieve his aim, because nobody will want to come to a country where he will make money and then repatriating his money will become a problem. The CBN is committing a good chunk of forex into trying to clear this backlog, and the airlines are still being owed at least $700 million. How did we allow things to degenerate to this point? That is a problem. If you ask me, even Mr. Tinubu did not know the scale of the problem that he was going to inherit. That is why we have this big problem on our hands, and what the CBN is doing is just firefighting. I'm happy that the Senate has summoned the CBN governor to come and explain what is going on. They are our representatives. They deserve to find out on our behalf what is going on. Why should we allow the Naira to depreciate to this point? Why should we, in some critical sectors in our country, insist that charges must be made in dollars? In the maritime sector, for example, a lot of the charges are denominated in foreign currency. In the oil sector, a lot of the charges. In the energy sector, talking about gas supply to power plants, gas is sold in dollars within our country, whereas this gas is meant for power plants that will supply electricity to the ordinary folk, to the ordinary Nigerians. Why must so many things be paid in dollars in our country? If we want to simply kill our currency and revert to the dollar, let us know. We must rein in the hunger for the dollar. Yes, we need to produce a lot more, but it is not simply a lack of production that is causing the problem that we have. People will ask the question, what is Benin Republic producing? How come they don't face the problem that we face? Their currency is stronger than ours right now.
Yeah.
More and more Nigerian farmers prefer to go and sell their produce across the border because they know they'll make more money.
That's right, BK.
We are in trouble as a country.
However,
and everyone must admit it, that we are in trouble.
That's right.
It has reached the point that we have to admit that we are in trouble.
That's right. With inflation almost hitting 30%, unfortunately, you would be surprised to know that some Nigerians are happy with the current economic situation as things look difficult for many. They believe they are suffering from their choice of presidential candidates in the last election. They even pray for things to degenerate even further. What does this say about our political disposition as a people, BK?
Anybody praying for things to degenerate must be a very irresponsible person, must be very stupid. So we pray for things to degenerate. To prove what point? I mean, these problems that we are confronting didn't start today. And if you are going to solve those problems, you can't solve them in a twinkle of an eye. People should engage their brains. We are talking about Nigeria owing airlines, owing banks. It didn't start today. And part of what the CBN should actually push into the foreign exchange market, they've spent more than 2 billion in the last 2 months trying to clear the backlog of our forex commitments to airlines and to other businesses. So that's not a problem that this administration created. That problem was there. An APC administration before this one, and even before that APC administration, some of these problems had been there. I know Sanusi, for example, have been talking about this problem. When your country is bleeding, it's not a time for anybody to gloat. I mean, what is how funny can people be? What are you gloating about? This is the time for everyone to jump in and play his own part. We must love our country as a people. We must wish our country well. Because we don't have any other country.
That's right.
And I know the resilience of Nigerians will help us to find a way out of this problem. This problem is not Tinubu's problem alone. We have to admit that.
That's right.
If you watch your governors, setting aside a huge chunk of what comes to them from the federation account as security votes, and they get the broad exchange operators to convert more than 90% of the security vote to dollars. You are now wondering why there is so much hunger for the dollar. If your country permits so much corruption, so much stealing, people steal 10 billion, people steal 5 billion, people steal 109 billion, and they convert a huge chunk of what they have stolen, what the system permits them to steal with ease, into dollars. Why won't there be extreme hunger for the dollar? Those who need the dollar the most, the pharmaceuticals, the big the companies, they won't get access to it. But big chiefs in government will get access to dollars that they convert what they have stolen to. An EFCC witness said before the court that the immediate past accountant general of the country paid back voluntarily $899,000. $899,900. One person.
Yeah.
One person.
Right, Mikhail, because of our time,
So
we need to race on. Yeah. But then before I bring in the next topic, the comments here, Nelson Adufe says, I'm of strong opinion, dollars should be less used and Naira should be used more to control this dark side of our dear currency. President should declare a state of emergency on the Naira restoration. Banji Okesoto says, currency value is never legislated but dictated by patriotism in consumption of local goods, shunning of corruption and increased productivity. Titilayo Olale says, the economy was already on a downward trend and you guys cannot be expecting magic to be done overnight. When Soludo was saying he does not envy Cardoso, do you think he doesn't know what he was saying? But then we need to race on. The Super Eagles beat Angola 1-0 thanks to a fine goal from Ademola Lookman, getting Nigeria to become the first country to qualify for the semi-final of the ongoing Africa Cup of Nations on Friday. BKO.
it's a thing of joy that at the point when Nigerians are going through hell, when they are going through a lot, when a good number of Nigerians are starving and they are despondent, the Super Eagles continue to give us joy. I've said this before that nothing unites Nigerians more than football. And it's a thing of joy that our team, despite being written off before the competition, is making us proud. We have considered just one goal and we are still in the race. Just one goal. And Stanley, our goalkeeper, is on hand to setting a record for the highest number of shutouts by a Nigerian goalkeeper in the African Cup. Remember, it was late best to get it who held on to that record. And then Aloy Agu, who was our goalkeeper during the night, came back in recent times, have a history of beating the South Africans. So perhaps we'll be able to beat them again this time around. Whatever it is, our team, even is very resolute and tough defense, marshaled by second, and a capable goalkeeper, very calm between the sticks. I'm confident that we have the base to win that competition. The great Sir Alex Ferguson said, "Fence wins you titles, attack wins you games, fence wins you titles." Our team playing the 3-4-3 formation has a defense that can propel it all the way. Just need to do is to continue to give them our moral support, pray for them as much as we can, and politicians going to pile pressure on the boys by their presence, going to their jail and all that. These politicians should get away. We don't need them around the Super Eagles. These are people who have caused so much problems for our country. The little joy that we can get from the Super Eagles, let no politician be seen within the lobby of the Super Eagles Hotel in Cote d'Ivoire. Leave the boys alone. The boys didn't get there because of it. So leave them alone. Let them focus on playing to win. Let them focus on winning the trophy.
That's right.
And I believe that those boys already stand out. I believe that we are capable of repeating the feat of the 2013 set of Eagles who won the trophy, much like legendaries in the case. I think that what Bernard Rolla put in Zero will be able to do at the end of the day. And you can see the team spirit. They are happy to work together. Look at the way they jubilate. You see that this is a team where everyone loves the other person. You can see the way they jubilate, where they win, they sing together. Look at the captain of the team, Musa, even leading them in singing Christian songs. You know, so it's a thing of joy. It's like this joy should not end. The Nations Cup is already almost 1 month old. It's like it should continue because it's giving Nigerians joy. So?
Right, BK, quickly. Because of our time, Marvin Odita says the reason why Super Eagles makes us proud is because of merit, or merit is used to pick players and not tribalism. Nelson Adufe says Nigerian football team are playing as a team and not players. However, I love them to continue the good job like Osimhen gave room for other players to score and shine. Pride should not overtake them. And lastly, quickly, BKO, if you can do this in 2 minutes. Before the last match, unfortunately, some people were already wishing the team bad, expecting that they will be kicked out of the tournament after 3 matches, to the extent that a guy called them Super Chicken on the national TV. However, talk to us about your optimism ahead of the Super Eagles' future outings.
You see, the team was not playing well before now because the team cohesion was not there. But right now, there is team cohesion. They understand themselves very well, and it's difficult to point out quickly. Everyone is playing for the other person. And all they need to do is continue to believe in themselves and not change their pattern. But that pattern has served the team well. The 3-4-3 formation, which is the Chelsea formation introduced by the Italian coach of Chelsea from years back. 3-4-3. It gives you defensive solidity because you have 4 players in midfield and 3 players in attack. You know, you have 3 centre halves and then wing backs and the front the attacker. So it gives defensive solidity and that shape. You can change that shape as the game is going on. When you lose ball, you revert. It can not be like a 5-man defense when you lose the ball. But when you are attacking, it's a 3-4-3 formation. So that formation is working. It gives me the confidence. It was Conte that introduced that formation to Chelsea.
That's right.
Remember, it's in the Italian coach. So I believe that same can bring this trophy home, and that is what Nigerians need at this time. We are not happy as a people. People are starving, people are hungry, people are being killed by kidnappers. But that joy of lifting the trophy will banish all of the anger that Nigerians have, even if it's for some time. We need that to happen. We need to show the world that we are a true African giant when it comes to football. Look at what is happening, even in music. All Nigerians nominated for Grammy is unprecedented. And one of them is a 21-year-old girl. We've never had it so good. Only one South African girl, Tyler, was nominated, to join them. 4 Nigerians, for God's sake. 4 of them. Davido, Burna Boy, Asake, and Ira Star. So, our country is a great country. There are many positive things happening to us as a country. All we require are great leaders, good leaders, to make our country to reach its full potential. This is where I want to leave it today.
Well, thank you so much, BKO. That's our show for today's edition of Issues with JIDE. Special thanks to you, Babajide Kolade-Otitoju, for those insightful analyses, as always. Right, and thank you too. Right. And thanks to you to our audience for joining us on every edition. You can see the program again anytime by subscribing to our YouTube channel, TVC News Nigeria. Click on the subscribe button to get the latest information. You can also follow us on our social media platforms at TVC News NG. I'm also at Ibrahim TVC News. On behalf of the rest of the team, I'm Ibrahim Shita. See you again next edition. Bye for now.